This video is for anyone out there looking to get started in the saltwater aquarium hobby. Now, in years past, many people were turned off because they thought a saltwater tank was hard to keep and maintain. It was a lot of work. But with today's advanced knowledge and all the good equipment we have available to hobbyists, it's actually not hard to keep a saltwater tank and even grow corals in your tank in your home. So this video is going to help get you on the right track so you have fun and enjoyment with the hobby. I also must mention we posted this topic on our Facebook page and we got a lot of good comments and suggestions from our seasoned hobbyists out there, so thank you for posting those. First step to getting started in the saltwater hobby is to research. You got to do your reading, look online, you can watch our YouTube channel. We have a lot of educational videos we've done over the years to help provide the correct information and get you on the right path. But I can't overemphasize the need to research and think about the type of aquarium that you're looking to set up. If you want to keep tanks, for instance, you need at least a tank that's 4 feet long, 5 feet long, because they need a lot of open water to swim in. You don't want to cram them into a small tank such as this. If you just want to keep small corals, a pair of clownfish, smaller basslets, and nano-type fish, a nanocube might be a great option for you. You also got to consider your budget. Obviously, a larger tank is going to cost a lot more to set up than something like this nanocube here. So that's the main thing. Take your time in getting started in the hobby. Write your questions down and get your questions answered before you make any purchase of equipment. Patience is definitely key in the saltwater hobby. I've told many customers over the years, this hobby will teach you patience one way or another, otherwise you will fail at some point. The saltwater hobby is something that's a slow progression. Livestock should be added over time. Don't think about what your tank's going to look like after it's been running for a month or 2 or 3 months. I built our big 800-gallon tank, and this revision, I'm all about what it's going to look like in 2 and 3 years. It's going to be an amazing tank, but I have to earn it. And that is done by slowly bringing that tank and building it and creating it, not by rushing it. Rushing the process always ends up leading to problems. You're going to have fish you added too fast, maybe you didn't quarantine them, you bought too many fish, you have a fish die, you run out and buy another fish. These are not what you need to do. If you have a fish die, give the tank a pause, wait to add that new fish, make sure your other current fish are healthy. You have corals that are dying or not doing well, don't just run out and buy new ones, figure out what happened that caused them not to do well. Take your time with the hobby, exercise patience, and you'll have a lot more fun, a lot more success for less cost. Okay, now here's some very important do's and don'ts when getting into the saltwater hobby. I wish I knew this 15 years ago, believe me. Do not use tap water in your tank. Don't do it. Use RO/DI water, which is filtered fresh water. Use that to top off the aquarium for evaporation. Use that to mix your salt water. If you're purchasing fresh water, make sure that the RO/DI water is of good quality. Also, do not use canister filters or BioWheel filters, which are designed for freshwater aquariums. They're not adequate for a saltwater tank. They'll only lead to a lot of headache and heartache and lost livestock. In fact, you'll come out a lot cheaper spending the money on the correct equipment to have a saltwater tank. That means a built-in overflow, a reef-ready aquarium, a nanocube designed for saltwater. Get a saltwater, reef-ready style tank. Do not forget to test your water. Understand water chemistry, embrace it, embrace creating stable chemistry in your aquarium. It's not the most fun part of the hobby, but what it does is it makes the hobby more fun, because when you do the simple water test, 8-10 minutes, once or twice a week, your tank remains stable, you understand the chemistry of the tank, and with stable chemistry, your corals and your fish will thrive. So you need to test for calcium, alkalinity, and magnesium, understand the relationship between those. Make sure to test for phosphate. High phosphates build up in any tank. You need to run media to absorb phosphates and keep them out of the water. You also need to test for your nitrates. Nitrates always build up in an aquarium. You need to keep them low, below 10 parts per million, in order to keep algae down. Now, you shouldn't have ammonia and nitrite once the aquarium is through the cycle, so as long as your nitrates are low, you shouldn't need to continue to test for them. pH, it's okay to test for pH, but it's not critical if your alkalinity is in the right range, because a proper alkalinity keeps pH in the correct range and helps it to remain stable as well. So the most important test once your tank is through the cycle: calcium, alkalinity, magnesium, phosphate, and nitrate. Another important do and don't is to definitely, as you test your water parameters, do test them. Don't dose calcium, alkaline, magnesium blindly to the tank. because then it's like driving down the street with your eyes closed. I mean, at some point you're going to crash or your tank is going to crash. So test, then dose, then test again, understand the results. That way you're not doing it blindly and your tank will stay more stable. Now, once you have your tank set up and you start adding livestock, obviously you're going to need to feed the livestock and the corals. A big beginner mistake is to overfeed or to feed too fast. So you want to understand the types of foods that the fish eat. For instance, tangs are like algae, they're herbivores. Some other fish, clownfish, prefer more meaty foods such as mysis shrimp. And definitely feed slowly. If you add food to the tank, you want to do it slowly, see that they're eating it. If it's falling into the rocks, it's going to create waste and boost your nitrates, cause algae problems and headaches for you. So learn what your fish need to eat, feed slowly, and do your very best not to overfeed. Observe the fish. If their belly is sucked in, you need to feed more. If it's huge, you can feed a little less. You just want them to be full, but not over full. So pay attention to your feeding and feed slowly. That'll help keep the tank stable in the beginning. Now, it's important in the saltwater hobby to understand that it's a constant learning process. I've been doing this for over 15 years. I still try to learn something every day. And you need to look at the hobby as a learning process. Be an investigator. Things aren't going to go wrong. You're going to have issues with the tank, algae blooms. You may have a fish that dies, a coral that dies or doesn't thrive, but you're going to use that as a learning experience. You'll gain more knowledge and your tank will progress. Every problem with the tank is an opportunity to learn and to become a better, more knowledgeable reef hobbyist. So be inquisitive, continue to learn, and you'll have a lot of fun with the hobby.